Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Toys R Us. This has been a long-term request. You guys have been asking for this one for quite some time, and I have finally delivered. I hope that you guys like it. If you do, please do remember to give it a like, but I think that is way more than enough talking. Why don't I actually show you how to build this thing? Because this is going to take a while, guys. Trust me, I've built it. It takes a long time into the tutorial. So if you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. Grab yourself some sandstone, some smooth sandstone, polished andesite, stone slabs, lapis lazuli, yellow wool, blue wool, red wool, and some black stained glass. Plus, we'll also need all of the other materials that you can see in the inventory there, so if you want to grab those quickly, then feel free. We will be needing those. But that should just about be it, unless I've forgotten something, which I'm prone to do. So once you have each one of the materials that you have seen in the inventory, and we have in our little hotbar here, well, what you want to do to kick this off is you want to start this off with this sequence of blocks coming directly up from the ground, and we are beginning with the entrance, guys. So this is going to be right at the front of your Toys R Us, and we want to start with a row of 3 sandstone coming up from the ground. That's 1, 2, 3. Then still going up to a smooth sandstone, then 3 regular, 1, 2, 3, then a smooth, then do 3 regular, 1, 2, 3, go right by 2, 1, 2, do a smooth, go right by 3 with the regular, that's 1, 2, 3, do a smooth, go right by 3 with the regular, that's 1, 2, 3, then do a smooth, then go right with the regular by 1, 2, 3, then go down by 2, 1, 2, then do a smooth, go down by 3 with the regular, that's 1, 2, 3, do a smooth, then do 3 regular, 1, 2, and 3 should connect you to the ground. Then go left by 3, still with your regular, that's 1, 2, 3, then go up by 2, 1, 2, do a smooth, then go up by 3 with the regular, that's 1, 2, 3, do a smooth, then go left of that smooth by 3 with the regular, that's 1, 2, 3, do a smooth, then go left by 3 with the regular, that's 1, 2, 3, do a smooth, then go down by 3 with the regular, that's 1, 2, 3, do a smooth, and then go down by 3 with your regular, which should connect you all the way back to where you first started, kind of. So you want to end up with something that should look like this. Well, once you've got this, what you then want to do is, I'm just going to close the gap down there because it was bothering me. What you want to do is you want to connect each one of those smooth sandstone blocks together. And what I mean by that is you want to have a pattern that should look like this. So you just want to connect like the inner parts to the outer parts of smooth sandstone, and you'll end up with a pattern that should look like that. And I think that that's actually quite self-explanatory. I'm sure that you guys can see how we did that. Well, what we then want to do is we just want to fill in the inner parts of that with the regular sandstone. So once you've connected these smooth together, then just fill everything else in with the regular sandstone. Just top everything all up. It'll take a second or two, but hey, you know, we've got some time, haven't we? And this isn't even the hard part. So once you've got that taken care of, which is kind of like the archway for the entrance, we then want to take out our red wool, and we want to do a layer of red wool inside of this archway on the left, top, and right hand side. So we want to have 3 rows of red, 1 on the left, 1 up above, and 1 on the right hand side, like that. What we then want to do is we want to split this archway up the middle, so we want to cut it in half, like this. We then want to do 2 rows of black stained glass coming from underneath the top of this, and then a row of red wool underneath it, to give you this shape, like that. What we then want to do is we want to take out the polished andesite, and we want to take the bottom left hand corner and also soon the bottom right hand corner of your sandstone, extend this outwards by 16 with the andesite. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We then want to take this 16th block and we want to move it backwards towards where the back of the Toys R Us is going to be by 38. I know that's kind of a long row, isn't it? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Oh, that was hard to do. That was kind of painful. I did that on one breath. So once you have that row of 38, you now want to come all the way over to the opposite side of the front of the entrance, right down at this bottom right hand corner sandstone block, and we want to move outwards from this block by 16 with the andesite. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We then want to take that 16th block and we want to extend it backwards by 38. But an alternative to having to count out the 38 again is if you just look directly over at where we built the original row of 38. If you kind of like line it up, match it up, go all the way over to that 38th block and then extend it over to that new 38th block that we've placed, then the rows should be the same length and it saves us counting out that second row of 38, and there you go, it connects perfectly. Wonderful. So you want to have something which should look like that, a nice big giant rectangular shape. What we can now do is this. So on top of our layer of andesite, we want to stick another layer of andesite. So in total, we want to have 2 layers of andesite right at the base of our Toys R Us. And unfortunately, there's no little sneaky method we can use to make this better. Not like how we just did previously with counting out the second row of 38. Unfortunately, what we have got to do is just painstakingly stick another row on top of this. But that's okay. You guys are going to get used to it, trust me. By the time you finish this build, you're not going to want to see the color blue again. It's going to be a wild ride towards the end. It's not going to get good. So yeah, get used to placing blocks in a pattern constantly, because that's the next part of this. So once you have your second layer of andesite, once that's taken care of, this is what we're going to do next. So we're going to take out our yellow wool, and we're going to stack a layer of yellow wool on top of the front rows of 16 at the front of Toys R Us, except we are going to extend that 16 block of yellow wool outwards out of the Toys R Us by 1 row. So we want to have something which should look like this. Shall I explain why? Well, the reason is we want to take out our stone slabs, and where we have this bottom row of andesite, because we have 2, we want to, with our stone slabs, do a layer of stone slabs in front of the lower half of the bottom row of andesite like this, going all the way around. And we're also going to be adding another layer of stone slabs that sits in the top half of the upper half of the 2 rows of andesite, if that makes sense to you. So we have this base row of stone slabs that runs all the way around the lower half of the bottom of the andesite, and we'll have another row of stone slabs right in front of the upper half of the second row of andesite, and this is going to give the windows something to perch on, which is why we have extended the row of yellow outwards by 1. So it wants to look a little something, and we're beginning the second row of stone slabs now. It'll look a little something like this. So you can see now why we have the yellow extending outwards. Can you see? So it just sits nicely on top of that row of stone slabs, so you get a quite nice varied effect. And you can see this running through a lot of the Toys R Us, like especially down towards the bottom. Instead of having just like one simple, like everything's straight down, like Toys R Us is a big giant cube, I decided to make it all a little bit layered, a little bit more varied, and I thought that it'd make it a much more interesting looking building. And I think it is. I think I've taken a pretty simple concept, and I think that I've made it look quite good, if I do say so myself. So you can see that we're just adding the last of these stone slabs now. It's just going to sit in front of the andesite, and it'll look a little something like that. That's wonderful. So we have our rows of yellow wool, and what we're now going to do, and move the glass closer to the yellow, guys, because it'll be easier. On top of the, let's say the left side here, we'll start on the left side. We want to, on top of this row of yellow, going from left to right, we want to do 1 yellow wool, 4 glass, 1 yellow, 5 glass, 1 yellow, 4 glass, 1 yellow. And we want to take that very same row and we want to add 2 additional rows on top of it. So we want to do that same row, and then we want to add 2 additional rows of the exact same thing directly on top of it. It shouldn't be too difficult whatsoever. So I'm just going to add the yellow on top of this, and there we go. So we have windows, and we also have some windows that are on the side as well. So if we just come to the left hand side of what we've made, and we take this bottom yellow block that we have right here. We want to extend this backwards by 16, so that'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We then, on top of this 16th block, want to place a yellow. Then going right of that, place 4 glass, 1 yellow, 5 glass, 1 yellow, 4 glass. Then stick 2 additional layers of yellow and glass directly on top of that row, and this will form the side windows. And we also want to, once you've got the side windows complete, we want to do the same thing to the opposite side. So this is like the front left hand side of Toys R Us done. Let's do the front right hand side. So we'll start on the very left of this row of yellow that we have here, and going from left to right we want to do 1 yellow, 4 glass, 1 yellow, 5 glass, 1 yellow, 4 glass, 1 yellow, and we want to stick 2 additional layers of yellow and glass directly on top of this. So we're just going to stick the glass on top of this, and we've already stuck the yellow, and then what we'll do is we'll just stack a row of yellow directly on top of that. So we have the yellow, we have the glass, and we're just going to stack a row of yellow directly on top of that. And on the right hand side here, we want to take this bottom yellow block and we want to move this backwards by 16 with the yellow. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We then want to, on top of the 16th block, place a yellow and then move this backwards by 4 of the glass, 1 yellow, 5 glass, 1 yellow, 4 glass, and then stick 2 additional layers of the same row directly on top of this. So I'm just going to stick the glass first, and then I'll stick the yellow in between and on top of it. So I'll just do the bits that are in between right here, and then let's do the part that's on top. So we want to have something which should look a little bit like that, and that is wonderful. Now let's talk about the next part. This next part is not fun. We want to take out our sandstone, and right at the back of Toys R Us, we want to, on top of the stone slabs that we have at the back in a U shape like this, we want to do a row of sandstone blocks. So just to give you a bit of a preview, this is kind of what we're doing, right? We want to basically connect each one of those windows together, right at the back, coming around the sides, and it'll look like a big U shape with your sandstone block. I'm already a little bit of a step ahead of you, I suppose, because I'm kind of like doing this without explaining it, but it'll look a little something like this. I'm sure that you guys can see what we're doing. And then the next part of this is going to be for us to add 1, 2, 3, 4 additional layers on top of it. So basically we want a row of sandstone that is as tall as the windows that we have just on the left and right and the front. That's kind of the goal here. So we're just going to add all of this layer of sandstone on top. It's going to take a while, but not a ridiculous amount of time. And once we've done that, we're going to talk about the windows. Yeah, the windows are going to be the main bulk of this tutorial, and as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to show me building all of the windows on the tutorial, but I'll explain that later. The windows are extremely easy to do, but incredibly time consuming. I'm not sure if you've seen the scale of Toys R Us, but this is a pretty big building. It's a pretty decent size. You can get plenty of toys in here if you like, but yeah, a lot of this is kind of just like empty space where a big giant second floor could go. Like if you wanted a mansion, take one of the Toys R Us buildings and just turn that into one, because they're always absolutely massive. They're like just these big massive giant warehouses just filled to the brim with toys, and I mean that's why we love them. But yeah, it definitely a lot of filling in, but I'll explain that process in a second. We've almost added all of the sandstone on top, then we'll talk about how we're going to be doing the next bit, and I'll probably show you how to do like an entire side, which will be quite painful, but then we'll just have to like do the roof and do the sides solo. So we've added all of the sandstone that you can see there. We've added all of that sandstone right round the back. That's wonderful. The next order of business is for us to take out our dark blue wall. And starting from just right at the left of the entrance, where we have the right hand side of the left window, we want to be right at the top corner, and we want to do a dark blue wall like right here, like right above in the top corner of the window. And we want to extend that dark blue all the way over to the left until it is just hovering above. So we want to have a row of dark blue wall that is just above outwards diagonally to the window. And we want to take that and we want to extend this going all the way around the back of Toys R Us. We want to take this, extend it all the way around the back, and we want to connect it to the opposite side. So we want to have the row of dark blue just above the opposite window. And then what we have to do is we actually have to make the entrance a bit bigger to Toys R Us. We have to make the actual like sandstone archway a bit bigger, because otherwise it's not going to fit what we have planned. So we're just adding the dark blue here. Then it wants to extend out one row when it gets to the front, remember, and then we want to connect it to the opposite side. So we want to have something which should look like this. So you can see that we have that like added depth. Then we want to take the blocks here of the entrance, except for the red and the glass, and we want to take each one of these blocks and we want to extend them outwards by 2 rows. So we want to extend these blocks outwards by 2 rows with the sandstone. We'll obviously start with 1 and then we'll add an additional layer to it. So just take each one of these sandstone blocks, the smooth, the rough, and you want to extend it outwards by 2. So this is the first row. I've not done the smooth yet, and once I've done the smooth I'll do it one more time, and then that's all we'll have to do to the entrance. We won't have to do any more. So the actual entrance to Toys R Us, unless you decide to change it, will sit 2 rows backwards. So that is where it is at now. And do I even want to extend this out more? Yeah, I want to extend this out more just to add a little bit more depth to it. And I'm now just going to create the entrance once again. I almost then, having a look at this thing, almost considered just leaving it as is. But once we have the windows in and everything, like this will just look better if there's a bit more variation with like where everything sits. So just to add a little bit more variation, just to make it look a little bit better, I think that this is definitely the route that we want to go down, and we may just have to light up the entrance because you can see it getting progressively darker. And as a matter of fact, it will be lit up from the inside anyway. I've just got to add all of the smooth sandstone now. But these are kind of like choices that you guys can make as well. Like, you don't have to extend it out by 2 rows, you can just do it by the 1 if you like the look of it, and you can change the colours and the texture and all sorts of stuff. But there we go, that is the entrance to your Toys R Us. Okay, this next part is no fun. Move the dark blue wool and the lapis lazuli, and also grab your blue stained glass and move them all together, like this. So what we next want to do is come to the very front left hand corner of your Toys R Us. We want to go up on top of this front left hand corner block by 20. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Take this 20th block and extend it over to the right until you think that this block is going to connect down to the front right hand corner of Toys R Us. This just saves us a lot of counting. Then come down and take this corner block and extend it upwards. Connect it all the way to where you thought it'd connect, and luckily for me it just did. Take the back 2 corners of the 2 long rows that we've made, the 2 rows of 20, and then extend these backwards and do the same thing. So you want to make a big, giant, empty square space all the way up above Toys R Us, like this. I was kind of close with that one as well. I'm now doing the long side, I'm doing the back side, but it's the same process here. Like, the same thing will be applied, the same rules. We just want to extend this all the way back. And then we want to come down to the corner where we think it will connect. We can extend it upwards, and any luck, yep, very close. And then we can connect the spinal corner. And there we'll have the big, giant, kind of rectangular, cubey looking thing right above Toys R Us. So we just want to have something which should look a little bit like that. Easy enough, right? Well, here's where the not so much fun comes in. So what we want to do is why don't we start here from the left hand side. So going right of this row of first 20 that we have, coming down from the bottom, we want to do this. We want to do this pattern. We want to go start from the bottom. We want to do 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, 1 dark blue. You guys have figured out the pattern now. It's 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 1, 2, 3 glass, like that. That's all you want to do. And on the top here, you want to do, so going right at that last glass that you place, you want to do 2 glass, so that gives us 1, 2, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, so on and so forth. it just keeps going and going and going until you eventually reach the opposite side. And if all of the proportions of Toys R Us are correct, and they should be because otherwise we would have encountered some more problems, these windows should fit perfectly. So we should be able to have our 3x3x3 pattern like this. And the same thing is true down below here. So down below, if we just go like right of this very first glass that we place, we should have like 2 blue glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, dark blue next to the entrance. And then on the opposite side, we can actually we can do the same thing. It'll start with 1 dark blue wall, then 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 3 glass, like this. So I think that you guys might already be able to tell here how the front of this thing is going to look. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to connect each one of these dark blue walls together. This takes quite a long time, so I'm going to connect these together, bottom to top, left to right. That's how this is going to work. So there was an easier way to do this, but I think that this is the best way to demonstrate how the entire build is going to go. Like this is how every single side will work. Every single side, left, right, bottom, top, like everything. Everything works like this, including the roof, except we're not doing the roof the same way actually. The roofs are going to be a little bit different, but it's like everything connects like this. It's all made out of like 3x3 squares of glass. I'm going to show you this just entire first front side, and then I'm just going to leave you to it to do the rest of it, because this is going to take quite a long time now. So there we go. So we've connected the bottom to the top, and then the next thing for us to do will be to connect the left hand side to the right hand side. That was such a weird sentence that I just produced. I'm not even sure what I just said, but we've connected the top and the bottom, and we're now connecting just like the we're connecting the 1, 2, 3, here we go, and we're connecting the right hand side to the left hand side, and that's all there is to it. It's just making it into a big giant grid that we'll fill in with glass. The next part of this is going to be filling in with glass, and then we are going to be backing the windows with some lapis lazuli block. That's it. So we're just making the big giant grid now, then the glass, then lapis lazuli, and we'll do this for every single side. I'm doing it to the front, like I keep saying. I keep repeating myself a lot. Oh, we've got one last window to do, and then 1, 2, 3. I keep repeating myself a lot, but I want to hammer this in that this is all there is. It's this easy. Like there's nothing complicated about this part or any of the other 4 sides. Like it's all so easy that you guys will get this no problem. So you can see that we now have the big giant grid shape. There we go. The next order of business is for us to fill in this with glass. So we'll just fill in this entire part with glass. I'm going to fill the bottom in with glass first, because that's the most awkward part. I'll just fill this bottom part in with glass, and then I'll fill the next few rows in with glass as well. Like if I fill the bottom part in, I figure that it just makes it easier to do the upper half. And once we've done that, I can just come to the left, and then we can kind of just like do broad strokes going from like left to right to left to right. And that's the problem. Like this is, it really is time consuming, but it does look good, so there's no real way around this. Like there's no other way to produce this effect without just maybe just placing the lapis lazuli in the frame regardless. But I think adding the glass in front of it makes it look a little bit better. So I guess it kind of is up to you if you want to come this far, and then if you want to skip the step of adding the lapis lazuli, because it does take a long time. If you just want like the raw build, like here, if you just wanted the dimensions of the Toys R Us, then I guess that you could have no problem with just adding like, I don't know, just filling this in with blue if you wanted to, or if you did want it to be a bit more different, adding the lapis lazuli and does definitely give it a nice bit of contrast. It's blue on blue, but it's different enough that it looks nice. But we've not even finished with the glass yet. I think that we've got 2 more layers to do, because there's like 5 rows of squares in total, and I feel like I've been placing these forever now, and by the time you have finished this, like I said a little earlier in the tutorial, like you're going to be sick of seeing the colour blue. You honestly are. It's going to make you a little bit seasick by the time you've finished this, because you seem to just be like going in waves and waves and waves. But you know, this is what you got to do to achieve that desired effect. So we're on the second to last layer here, and then we'll move up and we'll see how this looks, because maybe you'll find that you don't really want the lapis lazuli in here. Maybe you think it looks a little bit stupid, maybe you don't want it, but that's completely up to you. And I'm just going to destroy this block in here, but that's completely up to you, and you can do that in if you like, if you want to. So I'm just going to add this in. We've just got one last row up here, and oh, we've already got one row of glass put in up here, which is going to save me a little bit of a job. I wonder how long it actually takes to like go from one side to the other, just like placing in the glass. I have no idea. And a shame about this is that like it's not as mindless as just placing the blocks in a row and just kind of like letting your mind drift. You've got to like be wary of the support. So this is what it kind of looks like, and this is what I had originally, and this looks good, doesn't it? Doesn't this look kind of good? But you can see through it and it looks a little bit weird, whereas I want not a transparent upper half of the build, which is why I decided to put the lapis lazuli behind it. So this is like, do this if you like, if you want, it's up to you, but this, I think it does make it look better. You've seen the difference. So like, if you want to do the entire store without doing the lapis lazuli, having a look at it, and then just like take a look at mine and see how it looks, then you know you'll be able to see which one you like a little bit more. But I like this effect a lot more, so you know, it's completely up to you. So we now have another game, and this is placing the lapis lazuli. This is the only side that I'm going to be showing you how to make, just to parrot that once again. I'll also show you how the roof's going to be done, because the roof's also very simple, and I'll just show you how to do that whilst I actually have you guys, because the next part is going to be for me to do this to every single one of the other sides, and if you guys are building this along, if you're invested in this build, you'll be doing the same thing too. So yeah, we'll just do this, and we've done, I think, 2 layers of the blue. Yeah, we've got 3 layers left. At least we're going to be halfway next once we've done this set of windows. So I know that this is a lot of talking about nothing. I really should speed this up or something, but I'm just going to leave this in here, because otherwise this tutorial would actually be really short, despite the amount of work that you actually have to do for it. So I'm just going to keep this going until we do get to the mass building part, and then the only thing left to do, in case you're wondering, after we have done all of the walls, is we just have to do the Toys R Us logo, which is of course just the sloppily written, like multicolored, like high visible letters right at the top of your Toys R Us, and it's going to look quite nice. And we also have like the giant R that's in a star, that yellow R that's in the star. You guys know what I'm talking about, rhyming like Dr. Seuss, and we'll take a look at that afterwards. I mean, you've already seen what the front of the build looks like if you, of course, didn't immediately skip past it as you entered the video, although I'm sure that you didn't. I'm sure that you had a nice little cheeky look at this before you actually decided to start building it, because it'd be a little crazy to just like skip what it looks like, just go from it by the thumbnail. I imagine a lot of you guys, and I would if it was me, like skip like right to the end, or like I like to like provide a little bit of a preview just right at the start, just to see what things will look like. But maybe you guys are a bit more trusting than me. I like to see what the end result will look like before I'd ever build anything. So I'm just going to, I keep placing these lapis lazuli blocks, connecting them together, and I suppose it doesn't really matter that they connect together, because you wouldn't see them since this is the upper half, unless you did have like a big giant open plan second floor of this, you wouldn't see them. But there we go. So this is the effect that you gain from doing the front of your Toys R Us. Like, this is the effect that you get. It looks pretty good, and those are all of the windows done. You know what? To give us a little bit of a break, now that we've done the entire front, you guys know how to do that. Why don't we actually do like the letters and stuff to give us a little bit of a break? And that means that I don't have to come back and like teach you how to do them. So to make the letters, I'm going to need some red wool, I'll need some orange, I'll need green, I'll need the purple, I'll need the yellow, I'll need the dark blue, and that is just about everything. So once you have each one of these, once you've got the front done, we want to come up, and if you look at the bottom left hand corner window, right, that's window 1, that bottom left hand corner window that I have the cursor on. We want to move up by 2 windows, 1, 2, and we want to move right by 2 windows, 1, 2. So we're in like this window. Can you guys see the one that I'm talking about? I'm going to place a yellow in it. So we've found the third window coming up from the left hand corner, 1, 2, 3. We've moved right by 2, 1, 2. That's the window. So what we actually want to start off by doing is we want to place a red wall right at the bottom center block right in the center of the window like this. We then want to, on top of this red wall, go up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend that left and right by 1, that fourth block. Starting from this top right hand corner block, this one that you extended to the right, leaving a gap of 2, place one orange wall going right, so leave a gap of 2, place an orange wall. Do a bottom right hand corner block from that orange and then go down from it by 2. Do a bottom left diagonal and then do an up left diagonal, go up by 2. There's your T, there's your O. From the O, you want to, starting from the very top center block, you want to leave a gap of 2 going right and then place a line wall. Go down from that line wall by 1, do a bottom right diagonal, go down by 1, do a bottom left diagonal. Take that first bottom right diagonal, do an upright diagonal and go up on top of it by 1. That's your Y. From the top right hand side of your Y, leaving a gap of 2 going right, place a purple wall. Then place 1 going right of that wall and then 1 going bottom left diagonally of that. Then do a bottom right diagonal, go right by 1, go down by 1, do a bottom left diagonal, go left by 1. That is your S. Now, something that's a bit more complicated, starting from the top right hand corner of your S, you want to, leaving a gap of 2, place a dark blue wall. So gap of 2, dark blue wall. You then want an upright diagonal with your dark blue, then go right by 2, then do 2 bottom right diagonals, 1, 2, then you want to go down by 2, then do 2 bottom left diagonals, left by 2, 2 up left diagonals, up by 2, you have this shape. We then want to add a layer of dark blue on the left and right hand side on the inside like this, so you've limited the amount of space that you actually have. We want to take this very bottom center block, this dark blue wall, and we want to go up on top of it by 2 of the dark blue, do an up left diagonal, up right diagonal. Then do yellow wall all the way inside of this, and this is going to be your R, your backwards R. We then, right at the top here where you have this row of dark blue wall, we want to do an up left diagonal and an up right diagonal. So starting from the left hand side and up left, starting from the right and up right, like that. We then, starting from the upper right hand corner of the dark blue, so this dark blue right here that's just like slightly below this yellow, we want to leave a gap of 2 going right, then we want to place a green wall. Go down from that green by 3, that's 1, 2 and 3, like that. We then want to go down from that green by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go right by 2, then go up by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go right from that fourth block, leaving a gap of 2, and place a red wall. Go right of that red by 1, but also do a bottom left diagonal, and do a bottom right diagonal. Go right 1, down 1, do a bottom left diagonal, go left 1, and there you have your S. So you have your Toys R Us. Now on Toys R Us, for some reason, there's also like a few red blocks. I don't know what they actually are on the front of the store, but we're going to be placing them anyway. So the positions of these are like this. So that's your logo. You want to come all the way to the very bottom of your red T, right here. You want to leave a gap of 2 from the bottom of your T, so that's 1 and 2, right? So you want to come down by 2. You want to move left by 2, 1, 2, place a red wall, like in this position, right? You then want to come all the way to your Y, and you want to, starting from the very bottom lime green wall here at the Y, you want to move down from that by 2 blocks, that's 1 and 2. You then want to move right by 1, place a red. Come all the way over to the R, and starting from the very bottom right hand corner of the R, which is this block here, you want to do a bottom right diagonal with your red. You then want to come to your S, the last S, and you want to, starting from like the bottom right hand corner here, so if there was a block here you guys would see it, you want to move down from this block by 2, that's 1 and 2, so you've moved 1, 2, and then you want to move right by 1, and right in the center of that window you want to place a red wall. So it looks a little something like this. That's where all of the red walls, that's how they all space out. I'm sure that you guys can see where you have to place those. I bet it's even easier to look at it like this than me explaining it. Well, once you've got that taken care of, we can now move back onto the upsetting part. So we need for this the lapis lazuli, the blue stained glass, and the dark blue wall. For the roof of this, because you guys know how to make every single one of the other sides, for the roof of this, what you want to do is you want to, in between the windows, you know how the windows are separated by rows of dark blue? We want to take those very same rows of dark blue and we want to extend them backwards from the front of the build all the way to the back of the build, like this. So right at the top of the Toys R Us, we're going to have long windows that look like this, and inside of these, we're just going to have blue stained glass. We're not going to have any lapis lazuli. So all we're going to have right at the top of here, we're going to have the blue stained glass in the same position. We're going to have no lapis lazuli, however. That's how it's going to look. That's what we want to have up here. That's it for the windows at the top. You're very rarely going to see the windows. If you decide to have like a nice open plan Toys R Us, it's going to let the light in. Other than that, like, you won't see them. So you can either have nice big windows like this that let the light in, or you could cover it up if you're not going to see it or if you don't care. But that's how the roof of this is going to look. You'll see more of that later. So that is all of the hard part done. That is Toys R Us. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to fill all of this in. I'm going to show you how it looks once that's been completed, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how that looks. I expect you guys to completely fill in all of the walls of the Toys R Us. There's nothing more to it. You guys know how this has to be done. It's the same pattern over and over again. Like just showing you on the left, it's like 1, 2, 3 glass, 1 dark blue, 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 3 glass, moving all the way to the back. Like, you can see that the pattern fits in there. That's all you have to do. I'm going to be back in a second once I've done all of that to my Toys R Us. So this is what your Toys R Us should look like once it has been 100% fully filled in. As you can see, the left hand side is now like the front of the build. It's all connected in a grid shape, as is the back of this thing, as is the right hand side of this thing as well. So you can see that each one of these sides are now identical. As for the roof, it has been filled in the exact same way that I described. It's basically in line with the vertical rows of blue that you have at the front and the back. You run them front to back right across the roof and you add glass in there. And that is pretty much all there is, guys, to your Toys R Us. That'll take you a really long time. I imagine you're still working on that unless you pause the video as it cut, but that takes quite a while. Why don't we just port back to the original version of this so we can have a look at what the inside looks like. So just to show you how you could configure the lights and the floor and everything inside of this, because I haven't decided yet whether I'm actually going to do an interior / exterior tutorial to this. I probably won't, but let me show you what sort of room and what it can actually look like on the inside if you did decide to do it a little bit. So back here at the original version, I've decided to use oak wood planks as the actual floor because I thought that that would look nice. I didn't want to use stone because we already use andesite in the walls and stuff, so I didn't really want to use that. I decided to light it up a little bit with some lamps. Those are mainly on the actual windows and in between them. I think that that looks really cool. And we have part of the roof here as transparent, the center part of the roof, and you can look all the way up above, and I think that that's really cool. And we also have like the roof on the left and right hand side, which is made up of glowstone. So this place is really, really light. It's a bit varied. It looks really cool, and that's kind of like what you may want to do to the inside of this place if you so choose. So feel free to get like a little still of any of these if you do want to do the same thing to your Toys R Us. And the outside is pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure that you can see what I've done there, but that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, that's Toys R Us. It's mainly the outside building. Do what you want with the inside. I don't know whether I'll design the inside or not. I probably won't, to be honest with you. I really did just want to make the actual building. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, give it a favorite, give it a share. I'd really appreciate it. Comment down below what other builds would you like me to do next. Always vastly interested to hear what you guys want me to make. Follow me on Twitter at TSMC360. You can do the same thing there. I'd like to hear what you guys want me to build. Also, check out the cards and the description below for a few playlists and videos that I think that you guys might really enjoy. Specifically my real world buildings playlist. If you like this, you'll like loads of stuff that you'll find in that playlist. My real world buildings playlist, you'll find loads of stuff that fit into a city, a town, or a village, or anything that you're working on. But that's more than enough talking. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. Like, favorite, share, check out the cards, follow me on Twitter at TSMC360, and I'll see you guys in the next video.